versus the Eastern Allies, and the Eastern Allies of course made up of New South Wales ACT players, Tasmanian players, and the Central Allies made up of South Australian and Northern Territory players. I'm Michael Price, calling with me today Matthew Cox. And Matthew, we've witnessed a couple of great games. I'm looking forward to this one, to see the spread of talent across all of those four states coming into two teams.
And they're the emerging states too, traditionally Queensland, Western Australia, Victoria obviously being the dominant, the stronger ones. These are the two sides that are starting to emerge. Your South Australian talents becoming quite prominent when it comes in terms of the names that are discussed. And of course, for these sides competing, you've got the Adelaide Crows looking very much on to the Central Allies because it's their pool. You've got North Melbourne, Tasmania Kangaroos having a look at the Eastern Allies squad, with GWS also having a look at the Eastern Allies squad. So there's plenty of talent out there as we're underway for the final game at Metricon Stadium. Just juggling the footy out there was Whelan. Again, congested early, as has been the trend all day here at Metricon for round two of the 2019 NAB AFLW Under-18 Championships. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. Centre wing on the outer side of the ground. Palm down. The Central Allies will clear. High ball, inside 50. It's a bouncing ball, foot races on, just trying to get a toe poke in there was Breed. Ball still alive here for the Central Allies. Applying the pressure was Garnett for the Eastern Allies. Ball spills free, hurry snap on goal, going to land in the goal square. Bouncing awkwardly, it's collected here by Favell. And then taken away by the Eastern Allies. They go long, there's a push and a free kick will go the way of the Central Allies.
So they'll go back in, repeat entry here for the Central Allies. The ball is in the hands of Madison Freeman from Glenelg in South Australia. Gives the ball back, it's kicked inside 50, off hands. If the Eastern Allies have got a chance to get it out of there, it's hacked towards defensive 50. Reading it nicely there, Williams. Showing a bit of toe. Oh, she bounced the ball while being tackled. That's holding the ball. Just not allowed to do that. The old KB rule comes into play. Eastern Allies now trying to shift the ball across. Crelly to Hamilton. She handballs over the top. She gets it back, does Hamilton. Goes through the corridor. Oh, well-directed kick. It falls nicely for the Eastern Allies. The Central will be able to get it away. Wearing the headgear is Miskin Rippier. Interesting story on her. She kicks it down towards the commentary wing. Touching the ball on the ground might be the go. It is still a little slippery, even though the ground drains beautifully. It has been very drizzly for a couple of days here on the Gold Coast, so still a little bit soft underfoot.
And not much breeze around at the moment either, which means the moisture isn't evaporating as we probably like, as holding the ball is awarded the way of the Central Allies. Centre wing broadcast side here at Metricon Stadium. Ball goes down the line. The mark is taken just in front of us by Charlton. It's the kick on its way towards the half-forward flank. Standing tall front spot, Hannah Stewart takes the mark. Just outside defensive 50 for the Eastern Allies. Good ball inboard to Crelly. Wants to move it quickly. Comes inboard, was searching out there for Whelan. Came off hand, still numbers here. Crelly running through the middle. Goes forward, Abbott just able to trap the ball in. Still with the Eastern Allies though. They go inside attacking 50. Dangerous ball. Fry under pressure. Gives it to Miskin Rapia, who will put it wide for the Central Allies. Searching for Freeman. Couldn't take the mark. Under pressure. Turning the ball over. Pease now goes inside 50. Just off targets. Hit the behind post. And we will get a boundary throw in. Even though Miskin Ripia thinks that it's a behind.
Playing on for a behind, not happening. Interesting story. She's playing for the Central Allies as Chantal Miskin Ripia, but she's actually been living the last several years in Cairns, and she's a Gold Coast Academy product and just recently moved to the NT playing for Nightcliff. So she's an interesting addition to the Central Allies squad. It's a throw in, a double whistle on play. There was a little bit of a hold, and they're just saying just come in a little bit further.
The 10-metre rule, which you were hearing about before, which I actually enjoy. I think it's a great rule and almost potentially should be brought into the men's competition.
I wouldn't mind that myself. The ruck contest, Miskin Rippy at the back got it down. Oh, great tackle. How did she get rid of it? She didn't get rid of it successfully, says the umpire. Really good tackle. So the free kick comes out now, and Jordan Jolliffe, a very good midfielder. Now, let's see. She's got the person on the mark who's dropped back a fair bit. She had a back injury last year, so just coming back into form this year. She kicks it to the top of the square, off hands. And it will be one behind. So their opening score goes to the Eastern Allies, one behind. Central Allies yet to score after 5 minutes of the first term.
And Jordan Jolliffe is one of a couple of players in the Eastern Allies squad that comes from a Victorian-based side. The reason being because she's in the catchment zone just around the border area. So she plays for the Bendigo Pioneers in the NAB League Girls competition. But will be playing for the Eastern Allies as part of the 2019 NAB AFLW Under-18 Championships, as they'll reload here to Mia King. Got wraps on her. That kick, though, a little poor. The Central Allies with the ball. Charlton, she coughs it up. Mark taken by Hamilton. Just outside attacking 50. Long searching ball is good. Taken from the contest, Edwards. Around her body in the pocket, hits up Lillian Doyle. On a slight angle, slightly worse than a 45-degree angle will make it. Miskin Rippier standing the mark about 15 metres from goal.
It's be interesting here, it's not the easiest shot in the world.
She comes in, Lillian Doyle. Oh, made a very good attempt of it. No issues whatsoever for our first major. The Eastern Allies 117. Central Allies yet to hit the scoreboard. 6.5 minutes gone in the opening term.
Yeah, that's a nice start from the Eastern Allies. Just once they got the ball inside their attacking area, they basically kept it in there and just caused a few turnovers with the way they were attacking the body and the ball as well. So, very interesting start. Only sharing the disposals around. Eastern Allies have had 20 and Central Allies with 15. So reasonably close. A couple of clearances to one. So still early doors after 7 minutes of the first quarter. Here at the NAB AFLW Under-18 Championships. Good ruck work there. Eastern Allies bursting through. That's Mia King. Just scrubs it in there. Miskin Rippier gets it and just hacks it out towards half-back. Showing a lot of toe, getting there quickly. Gee, that's good pace there from Smith. The kick was turned over. Mark taken there by Favell. Lowers the eyes. Nice little pass, only 15 metres progressed, but Hurrell's got the ball. Once again, and lowering the eyes and a good pass. That's the way to do it. Just continue to possess that ball. Tani Evans now kicks it into another space. They're just sharing it around at will. That kick not quite as good as it could have been and basically destroys the movement as the Central Allies get out of here. Will they be able to progress any further? They've got the numbers. They should be able to share.
Just if they can mop up here. Charlton under pressure. Release the handball backwards. High ball towards the centre wing. Mia King sitting underneath it. Couldn't lay claim to it. Comes out here to Lee. Lost control of it. Ball will be seen over the boundary line and out of play by Mia King, who North Melbourne, Tasmania Kangaroo fans will be keeping a very close eye on. Coming out of Launceston, made the extended All-Australian squad last year. Part of the Eastern Allies program. Central Allies unable to get it out. King hovering over the top of it again. Will get a ball up. Attacking side of the broadcast wing for the Eastern Allies.
Another ball up. Good ruck work there from Breed. Gets the ball down. King can't quite extract it. Going in and taking it was Hilla Stanbrook. Could have been taken high. And that was a great tackle too. It actually was from Whelan. An incorrect disposal as a result. Tries to measure a pass. Intercepted there. Fisting it away. Central Allies player in Newman towards the boundary line. Oh, handballing into herself. That's Williams again. She's shown a little bit of dexterity and skill, the Central Allies player. Ball still on the commentary wing. They just can't get it out of this congestion. Trying desperately, the Eastern Allies. How about that from a tackle? That is magnificent. Charlton just absolutely hammered Whelan into the ground in front of us here. Ripping tackle. Kick finds a teammate. Double grabber as well. That's good movement there. Lee just touched off the boot. Central Allies with a chance. Kick forward by Breed. It bounces over the back. Can they control it? Or no? Well, it looked to me like it just went over the line. It is a behind. So 1-1-7 plays one behind. Central Allies with their first score of the game after 10 minutes of the first term. 6 points the margin.
Yeah, the Eastern Allies player just getting slow to her feet. Georgia Garnett in the hands of the trainers just on the half-back flank as O'Donnell decides to play on out of the defensive goal squares, but it's going to go straight down the throat of Clark. Just outside attacking 50, or her kick smothered. Opportunity opens up now for O'Donnell. High kick towards the centre wing. Good body work used by Evans. Brings the ball to ground. Has a free player on in Crowley if she can get it to her. She now does. Her handball backwards went astray. Still finding out their P's. Gives the handball off quickly. A lot of traffic around the footy. Eastern Allies working it by hand. O'Donnell has put it down the throat of the Central Allies, though, defensive side of the outer wing. They look towards Munyard on the outer side. She couldn't claim the mark. O'Donnell now takes it. And the ball will be hurried over the line and out of play by Abby Ballard for the Central Allies. We'll throw it in centre wing, outer side. 6 point lead to the Eastern Allies. Just over 4.5 minutes left on the clock in the first term.
So the throw in on the outer side favours the Eastern Allies. It went over the heads of both ruckmen, but Central's come away with the ball. Tacked forward towards their 50. Good body work. That was nice stuff coming out from Prokopic. Now Central Allies right in 50. Left footer with a chance towards the goal square. Bouncing. Oh, they've kept it in. Great work there, and what a magnificent tackle. It looked for all money like they were going to score their Central Allies. They still may. And it's a push. Well, she was the young lady with the first chance at it, Hartaluni. And there was a magnificent tackle that crunched her to stop her progress, but then the second one was just a little bit errant, so the free kick. And let's see what she can do to tie the scores up late in the first quarter. From close range, just pops it through. Not a problem. 1-1-7 apiece after 12.5 minutes of the first quarter. Central Allies and Eastern Allies here at Metricon.
It's a little more free-flowing than the two previous games we've had earlier today here at Metricon Stadium. Both sides, they can. And geez, Hartaluni on the line. How she didn't let that go through. She was thinking about it as the ball was dribbling in, and then she thought, oh, go for it. Probably the moment where she probably wished she'd let out post. Bounced off it, ball back into play, and she ended up with the free kick and the goal to get the Central Allies on the board with their first major. Eastern Allies coming through the middle, well held. Emerging with the footy now is Taylor. Pops it into space. Geez, casualties left, right and centre. Hamilton pops it on the boot. Outer side. Ma takes it. Brings it inboard. Bouncing ball. Got a blue jumpers around, but it's just stolen by Ballard. Pops it up to centre half forward for the Central Allies. Just trying to lay claim to the footy. Munyard is caught high, and she'll get the free kick at centre half forward.
She's got the people leading for her and pops one in. Now, that was a delightful kick. Pretty ordinary defence then when you think about it, but Hartaluni again, she kicks it to the pocket. Good strong mark in the front position. Well taken there by Kiana Lee. 6 goals in 2 games for South Australia in round 1. Comes from Woodville West Torrens in the SANFL. She first picked up a footy when she was 6 years old for the Rosewater Footy Club. They said, Dad said, why don't you go over there and have a play with the boys? She did, and she beat them. Well played.
Well, with a mark like that.
Exactly. Kiana Lee. And how's the kick? Oh, just fades at the last moment for one behind. 1-2-8. Central Allies lead Eastern Allies 1-1-7.
Good game of footy. What can the Eastern Allies do here? Oh, the kick a little too hot there for Lovell. They've got numbers to mop up. Doing a 360 there was Hurrell. Finds Favell. Moves it quickly to the outer wing. They just need a clean disposal, the Eastern Allies. They don't get it. Carbone, hurry kick towards centre half forward. Eastern Allies able to respond, and the foot races on towards the broadcast side. Pease didn't get there first, had company in Freeman. Ball dribbles over the boundary line and out of play in front of both of them. We'll throw it in.
A lot of bottom ages in the Eastern Allies squads, in fact in both squads. Just reflecting on that, Emily Pease, again, she's born in 02 and from the Belconnen Magpies, but there's plenty of them. And that is quarter time. Central Allies have poked their nose in front at quarter time by a point. 1-2-8 plays 1-1-7. It was Doyle with the goal for, sorry, now who was it? It wasn't. It was Hartaluni for Central Allies, and it was Doyle with the goal for the Eastern Allies as well. So just one goal scorer apiece. So, yeah, that was a lot more open, Matthew, than the previous games where it was really congested and hard early and they had to prize the game open. This one started that way.
Yeah, it's great to watch after, the contests that we got earlier were fantastic with the hard body work, but these two sides, they want to move it on the outside, get it as quickly as possible into the hands of their speedsters. Central Allies, there were times where I think they could have just taken a step off the pace going inside 50. There are a couple of targets that they missed, whereas we saw the build-up at the other end from the Eastern Allies to result in their goal. It was a little more of that traditional hit-up target type play. But a great competitive opening term of footy.
It was. The disposal count is slightly different. Eastern Allies with 52, Central's 40. Really good disposal and kicking efficiency from the Central Allies at 60%. So they're doing well as regards to the Eastern Allies 46%. 7 inside 50s, Eastern Allies leading that to 5, and 5 clearances to 2. So statistically they're basically in front, apart from the efficiency side of it.
Yep.
Central's just a little bit more efficient with what the opportunities they've had. They've just made that slightly better fist of it. So it's a really good game to kick off the final game here on day 1 of round 2 of the NAB AFLW Under-18 Championships. And the weather's held off. That's very nice. So we've had some rain early on and not so far throughout the second and third games as well. And we will be doing this again on Wednesday and on Friday. Wednesday we will be live from the Southport Footy Club, Fankhauser Reserve, and that will be another 3-game series. And on Friday, Bond University will host another 3-game series to complete round 2. It's going to be some exciting footy.
It certainly is, and a couple of cracking contests coming our way as well. Queensland will take on Vic Metro in the first game on Wednesday. Vic Country will take on the Eastern Allies in the second game, and the final game will be against Western Australia and the Central Allies, all those, as you said, at the Southport Footy Club. And then Friday, the Eastern Allies take on Vic Metro, Vic Country take on Western Australia, and Queensland take on the Central Allies to complete the 2019 NAB AFLW Under-18 Championships.
Best players as far as disposals go for Centrals, it is Charlton with 4, and for Eastern Allies, Favell's got 4, Hurrell with 4, and Hamilton with 4 disposals apiece. And you can just see they've broken up into their lines now. Several coaches involved with both sides. The Central Allies are being coached by Heidi Thompson, of course. We know we know very well in Queensland. She is at Queensland a couple of years with the Brisbane Lions Women's Academy before she moved to the NT. She's become head coach of the Northern Territory Thunder, of course playing in the VFLW, and she actually coaches the Darwin-based Adelaide Crows players as well. So she's a great footy mind to be taking control of the Central Allies. Stephen Maher, of course, for the Eastern Allies, the coach of the New South Wales ACT team as well. So these girls have got some great mentors around them, and they're speaking to them as we speak.
And just having a look through the binoculars down on the ground level, there's a couple of GWS giants that are also in the coaching ranks for the Eastern Allies side. Alicia Eva, who of course has been involved in pathway coaching for a few years, both in New South Wales and in Victoria as well, was the inaugural coach of the Calder Cannons, who claimed the 2017 under-18 competition. It wasn't a grand final that year, it was just a top-of-the-table finish. And Louise Stevenson I can also see hovering around down there as well. So a couple of experienced giants lending their support and mentoring this Eastern Allies group, which in the overall scheme of things, they're not as strong as the other states. When you combine New South Wales, the ACT, they've probably got a slower development, given it's a non-traditional state of footy, but it is building. There's some exciting talent coming out there and hoping to get on the GWS list. The Tasmania influence as well now with the partnership with North Melbourne, which is fantastic. And then you've got obviously the strong Northern Territory and South Australia group vying for a spot on the Crows list.
Absolutely, and they've got some absolute crackers here. Just looking at that Kiana Lee before, just a very, very good football player. Jamie Tabb as well, but plenty to like about the way they've gone about it in the first quarter, and very vocal too. They're very enthusiastic as they break away from the huddles and get back into their positions for the second quarter here at Metricon Stadium. They lead by a point, Central Allies, after 6 minutes. It was 1-1-7 to zip in favour of the Eastern Allies, and then they took over the Centrals after that, and they did the only scoring in the second half of the quarter. So it was a quarter played in two halves, if that's the way you want to look at it. So we're going back into the middle, and we're going to utilise the middle centre circle. Yeah, and that's all just to sort of vary the bounces with several games going on with what is a cricket wicket area as well. Michael Price and Matthew Cox calling all your action. We'll get the second quarter underway with Matthew.
Thank you very much, Michael, as we just await, I think it's the goal umpires just putting their flags into the goal posts, and then we'll get proceedings underway for the second term final game. Big day one of action here at Metricon Stadium. And a great day of footy. Looking forward to the upcoming 2 days on Wednesday and Friday. All the coverage will be live and available for you to view. It's an interesting setup that they're going with down forward, the Eastern Allies. Big clump of players who now spread. And they get first use of it here. Hands it in. Hurry kick forward. No real advantage though. Central Allies, they cough it up. The opportunity comes here for Whelan. Goes inside 50 with the kick. Miskin Rapia was hovering on the outside, waiting for the handball. Didn't get to her. Whelan kept going. Ball deep inside 50. Recovering is Ward. Dangerous kick. Inboard. Punched out of the hands of Hamilton. Ball to ground. Chasing it is Williams. Couldn't take it cleanly. Ball at centre half forward for the Eastern Allies, who run into a brick wall. Tackle laid on by Smith, and Tabb will get a ball up.
You're probably unlucky not to be rewarded for that tackle. But umpire's closer than we are, as we say. Clearance goes with the Eastern Allies. Comes back out now to Crelly. Chips it forward. Once again, they're going to go inside 50, but it's going to be rejected there. Central Allies have got the numbers. That's a dangerous handball. Got the 1-2 coming out, but it's going to come straight back in. Crelly, she controls it. Gives the handball off. Sold a teammate into a little bit of a dump there. And it was a really good tackle. Well played there by Fry. She comes out of defensive 50, tries to measure it. Off hands, well roved again by Lee. She hacks it forward. Central's with a little bit of momentum here. Got a bit of a high shot too. So it was Mattia Breed she wants to play on. Kicks it inside 50. Big fly at the back. Numbers with Eastern Allies. Could have been a push. Nothing happening. Picked up and nice flying shot there from Hartaluni, the goal scorer, but she didn't quite get a hold of it. One behind. So 1-3-9 for Centrals, 1-1-7 for the Eastern Allies.
Showing presence around the goal. Hartaluni has had a couple of opportunities. Has one goal on the board so far. The Central Allies only one. It's the Eastern Allies. Oh, dangerous kick. Clark bearing down, scoops the ball back inboard. Just soccering it off the carpet there, Hurley. Still an opportunity, going for it, Breed. It's unable to take it. The umpire says holding the footy. Free kick going the way of the Eastern Allies inside defensive 50. Just need to get a bit of rhythm back into their game. Bit of composure, high ball. Oh, standing tall, Montana McKinnon from South Australia. Big raps on her. Dominant ruck. And they're using her height to her advantage there. Mark not taken by Charlton. Kicks it inside 50. Great marking attempt from Georgia Garnett.
Oh, absolutely. Just used her body. You can see that she's just in the right position there, but utilised her body to its maximum effect. That's a great mark too. Just Corelli got rid of, and Usher takes the mark. Wasn't a bad kick at all. Usher did beautifully in the bodywork contest. Long kick inside 50, more or less uncontested. That's another great mark there from Charlton. They play on across the field, and marking effort, about 35 metres out on a very slight angle to the right. They're going to have a set shot at goal, Centrals here. Is that Freeman? So she comes in from 35, leans back on it a bit. It's a bit of a wobbly mongrel, but it'll do. It's straight through the middle, and Centrals extend their leads 2-3-15 to 1-1-7, so it's 8 points the margin, and we've played around about 4 minutes of the second term.
Doesn't matter how it goes through, so long as it does. Just a great passage of play in general there, as you remarked. Plenty of great marking contests. I'll tell you what, luckily we're not choosing a mark of the day contender today, because there are about 8 in that passage of play that deserved it.
There's been a couple, hasn't there?
All under pressure too.
But the Central Allies just seem to have a really good set of players who can really clunk a mark in one grab.
So back in the middle. Work the way here of the Eastern Allies. O'Donnell spirals one inside 50. The Central Allies got to the footy first. The handball not fantastic. King fed the handball out. Newman unable to lay claim to it. Now Tab. Kick was wasn't partially smothered. Thought it came off hands. The umpire said no. A mark to Charlton. Comes wide to Healy. Centre wing on the broadcast side. Healy. Good kick down the line. Hits up Lee. Been prominent. Goes to the top of the 50-metre arc. McKinnon flew. Couldn't bring it down. King might have given a shove in the back. The umpire said no, okay. Hamilton up against the boundary line. Ran out of room. And last touch out of bounds rule in play, so a free kick goes the way of the Central Allies. Lee inboard, mark taken by Hartaluni.
Hartaluni, she goes back to the top of the square, handball looping over the top. Once again, they just hack it out of there, the Eastern Allies. They just don't want it in the area. Good body work. That came from King. She's a very good player, Mia King. It goes into the corridor. Good handball, good running. Favell. Can she get rid of it? She does. Kicks it to the top of the 50. Good contest. Brings the ball to ground. Now it's with Favell. She picks it up. Doyle hacks it. Now it's the headband wearing Miskin. The headgear wearing Miskin Rapia. She couldn't quite pick it up. It was picked up there by Jolliffe, who had a little bit of a dribbler. around the corner, and why wouldn't you in that position? But one behind results, 2-3-15 to 1-2-8, back to 7 points.
Just didn't get the curve on it that she wanted.
It's hard when it's slippery to get that curve.
Miskin Ripier comes wide. Oh, 4 Eastern Ally jumpers. Lucky for the Central Allies, none of them took it. Newman, high ball, King sitting underneath it. Didn't take the mark. Charlton's been impressive, endeavouring here for the footy. Extracts it, done well did Charlton. Flicks the handball out to Freeman. Puts a kick on the boot. Awkward bouncing ball, making things a little difficult here for Hartalunai, who has players bearing down on her. Hurley gives the handball off, or teammate tripping her own teammate there. It's a little awkward from the Central Allies, which means the Eastern Allies are able to get a kick up. Only as far, though, as Madison Newman.
Yeah, from West Adelaide. What a good grab that was. Right position, but used her body well. That's an aggressive kick. Eastern Allies, oh, that was really beautifully done by the big ruckman from the Central Allies in McKinnon. She actually was out of position and brought it to ground very well. So it's right on 50 now for Centrals. McKinnon's going to go back and get it again. Gives it to Lee. Back to McKinnon. On the right foot, hooks it inside 50. Bouncing freely. Smith, can she push it forward? She does. Picked up there by Ballard. She didn't quite pick it up. She left it behind. The Eastern Allies now still haven't got out of their defensive 50. Handball off. Oh, that's a very dangerous handball. It put Prokopic on a lot of pressure. Still not out of trouble. Now they might be the Eastern Allies. The handball is not slapped away. Still under pressure. Central's just applying it, but now just get it out of here, she says, into the square.
Hurley, high kick, good. Tarrant takes the mark in the middle. She wants to go into the centre. Swallowing that one, though, Amber Ward for the Central Allies. Brings it to the broadcast side. Tab will take the mark. Has Freeman running past. Just seen her. Going to pop it up. Freeman space. Decides, no, I'll go back on the mark. Take my time with the kick. Lobs it up now. High ball inside 50. No good. Mark taken by Emily Hurley. Going to bring it back to the broadcast side. Freeman involved in the contest. Kept going, did Freeman. Did well to get it to Hartalunai, who goes inside 50 with a drilling kick. Hurley under pressure again. This time couldn't take it cleanly. In defence there, Stewart up against the boundary line. Not a bad looking kick. A great kick in the end to Harrell, who takes the mark.
So she brings it forward now. Oh, tries to go the short pass, and it's cut off there by Ballard. She's going to play on. Use the left foot to effect, does she? No, it's turned over. Eastern Allies with a shot here. Handball goes back into the central corridor. Very cleverly done there. It's towed forward. It's going to bounce the centre half forward. They've got another shot, Eastern Allies, but once again, defensive effort from Ma just makes it very difficult. They try to run with a series of handballs through the corridor. Ends up with Ballard. Kicks it to half forward. Good fisting effort comes away there from Prokopic again. Eastern Allies, she snuck up behind her. She didn't hear it coming, did she? So that was Crelly, and the tackler was tabbed. She did beautifully.
And not a bad looking kick either to get the Central Allies to half forward. Bouncing ball, taken cleanly. Afterburners from Healy. Couldn't get the kick away. Still going. Healy has socketed it. It's through. Gee, she just kept working and working and working. It didn't come off the first couple of times. And in the end was able to soccer it through. Healy with her first of the day, and the Central Allies with a bit of a buffer with just under 5 minutes remaining in this second term. 3-3-21 plays 1-2-8.
She's a top ager, born in 2000, so she's from the NT Waratahs club, so eligible for drafting, and you'd think that the Crows would have got another one stitched up there. Very nice if your list's not getting picked about. But no, it's been wonderful to see these players established, and another great one from the NT coming through that will be a part of the AFLW system with the Crows. But Charlton leads the disposals with 9 for the Central Allies. Usher with 7. Freeman with 6 and a goal. And we'll have a look at Easton's. Hamilton with 8, Hurrell's got 7 and Hurley's got 7.
So the Eastern Allies go forward. Good mark. In the heart of attacking 50 taken there by Olivia Edwards. Directly in front, about 35 metres out, player on the mark stands. So just had a look to see if there was anyone running past. Gets very close to the player on the mark, pushes it to the left-hand side, and it will go over the line and out of play.
Yeah, just very close. She rushed that in the end, didn't she? She thought she saw that the player had sagged back a bit, sort of just jumped on it and just got way too close, and there was a bit of a floater in the end. So throw-in happens for the Eastern Allies. What can they produce? They need a goal here. Both ruckmen missed the ball. Handball comes back there to the player in Tarrant. She's tackled off the ball. Centrals have got the numbers at the coalface at the moment. Going in and just picking it up and getting it was Fry. She was tackled into the ground. 45 out, and we'll do it all again.
Starting to lock up just a little bit. Eastern Allies into attack. Favell flicked the handball to Tarrant. Her kick smothered. Ball top of the goal square for the Eastern Allies. Pushing it through there, Olivia Edwards. And it's a goal.
That's really good in traffic. She really had a very little time to deal with that ball once it was decided she was the target. She got it from around about 10 metres out top of the square, but right in the middle of traffic and poked it through. Very nice work under some tight pressure as well.
Making the most of their opportunities going forward, the Eastern Allies. They haven't had too many in this second term. Just able to get a bit of the margin back.
Yeah, the inside 50s have gone to Centrals now, 14 to 12, but the clearances, they're being dominated by the Eastern Allies, 10 to 3 at the moment. So we go back into the middle. I'll call that one a draw as far as the clearances go. Eastern Allies come out with it, though. Umpire says it was held to. So we'll have another ball up. And the last player to get up with that ball was O'Donnell. Once again, McKinnon gets the ball down for the Central Allies. Getting in their direction. O'Donnell again. Gets the handball off. There was a little bit of high contact there. And the free kick's going to go to King. Very good player. It's very obvious very early. That's very well done, the handball too. King kept running. Well, tried to spear a little one into to Crowley, who controlled it nicely, but then turned it over. Getting involved again. Central defence. They just can't get a hold of the ball and clear it. It's still bobbling away inside attacking 50 for Eastern Allies. Doing well again, Mia King. Measured a kick. Oh, good, strong mark. Boy, that was a good mark. Well played there from the player in Jordan Jolliffe. Boy, that was a really good set of hands because the defender was doing everything possible to put her off there.
Yep. Really just stood her ground. Had arms and legs coming at her from every direction. Great mark.
So she comes in from 45 and steers it through. That's a lovely kick to finish off as well. So we're back to within a very tight ball game. 1 point the margin. Central's 3-3-21 and Eastern Allies 3-2-20. So at half-time, it's 1 point. That's after it was 1 point to Central's at quarter time as well. So we've had a few goals kicked in the second quarter, but well, we're all back to that same tight margin of a behind. Fantastic work from both sides.
Yeah, really good. And just going back to that passage of play, obviously Jordan Jolliffe kicking the goal, but the kick from Mia King, just the class, perfectly weighted it. Just really good vision from her to be able to put it to the advantage of her teammate in Jordan Jolliffe to get the goal on the board. She's been prominent, 8 disposals in the game already, 7 kicks as well. Has been really good. 4 contested possessions, has also laid a tackle. So impressive from Mia King. Hamilton has been their top possession getter. 9 disposals Jade Hamilton has taken. And on the other side of the equation, Charlton, prominent more so in the opening term and the opening part of that second term, has also had 9 touches.
Yeah, so it's the tackling stats are probably the one that just opens my eyes just a little bit. Centrals are now 20, Eastern Allies are 20. The Central Allies, 30 tackles, but 6 of them belong to Jamie Tabb. She's a tough little midfielder, that one. She's a NAB Academy member from West Torrens, and she is just dominating that stat. 6 tackles in one half of football, and she's operating at 100% when she gets the ball as well.
And we saw her closing speed in the tackle during that second term just in front of us here, just applying enormous pressure on the opposition.
Yeah, the contested possessions, Jolliffe, of course, has got those with 6. But look, it's been a really, really good half of football. Really looking forward to seeing the second half, and we will do that very shortly. We're at the AFLW Under-18 Championships here at Metricon Stadium on the Gold Coast. Back with the second half of this game shortly. Welcome back to Metricon Stadium on the Gold Coast for the AFL Under-18 Championships. AFLW Under-18 Championships, I might say. The Under-16s are just happening down the road as well. And the boys, it's all happening here on the Gold Coast. And we're at half-time in Match 3 and what has been a wonderful day of Round 2 action. Central Allies, 1 point in front of the Eastern Allies. It was the same margin at quarter-time as well. 3-3-21 plays 3-2-20. Michael Price and Matthew Cox calling all of your action. And Matthew, this has been a really good open game of footy. They've broken the shackles earlier.
We've said it a couple of times, completely different to the previous two games. That was a much more contested ball winning type of game. This game completely open, both sides just looking to attack as much as they possibly can. The defensive aspects of the game, while still strong, aren't the strong point that we saw in the first two games. So cracking game of football, and it's in the balance at the moment between these two sides.
So we're in the middle. Central Allies look like they might get the clearance. That's a really clever bit of work there from Hartaluni to get the ball out. Eastern Allies are going to mop up, though. Mia King, she's a very good footballer. You can see that straight away, can't you? It's going to go in attack for the Eastern Allies through the hands. Comes there through Edwards now. Now at the side, tackled without the ball. Could have had an opportunity there, but the Central Allies defence under a lot of pressure as it's towed forward for the East. Through hands, picked up, nice snap too. Well done there from Prokopic, it was, Amy Prokopic from the Clarence Footy Club in Tasmania. She just wheeled out of the traffic. Nice on the left foot from 20 metres and good skills.
Put it through and it gives the Eastern Allies back the lead. 4-2-26 plays 3-3-21. And great result for them, bursting out of the middle. A bit of a chaos ball inside 50. Door opens up and they're able to put it through for a major.
I take that back. It was actually Evans. It was actually Tani Evans who kicked that goal.
Close enough. 20. Yeah. We're in the 20s.
23 and 25. Yeah. They look very similar.
So the Eastern Allies, they've got a spring in their step at the moment. Favell, long ball. Mark taken by Tarrant, just outside attacking 50. Oh, geez, the kick was almost there. Bit of holding, I think, going the way of the Eastern Allies. And the free kick will go the way of Evans, who got a goal just moments ago. Directly in front. Woman on the mark stands about 40 metres out from goal. Slow and steady approach. Left foot kick on its way. Going to land in the goal square. Off hands. Through for a minor score. Hovering there was Tarrant, just waiting for the opportunity to soccer it through, but didn't get it.
So the Eastern Allies now one straight goal in front after trailing by a point at both quarter time and half time. They've started this third quarter very brightly. It's a deft tap over the top there from Lee. Found a teammate in Tab. Nicely tackled off the ball, though. Ball was smothered off Hilla Stanbrook's kick. I'm not sure it was an intentional smother. I think she kicked it into the backside of one of her opposition players. So she's going to take the ruck contest here. Hilla Stanbrook for the Eastern Allies. McKinnon for Centrals. Bangs it down. Towed forward for East. Is a little kick in danger, was it? Yes, it was. So a free kick's going to go to Montana McKinnon.
She looks inboard with the kick. Just through the fingers of Clark. They've got numbers here, though. Williams streaming through the middle. Gave the handball off. Was searching for Fry. Bobbled awkwardly for it. Still have possession here. Central Allies. Fry did well to get the kick to the centre wing. Tab takes the mark. Posing herself on the contest. Oh, has a free player in Freeman. She takes the mark under a bit of pressure in the end. Slow to get to her feet.
Yeah, just banged her head a little bit on the deck there. Probably feeling a little bit shaky.
She loves it up. Long kick. Inside 50. Great contested mark taken by Breed. Moves it quickly into the pocket. It's a bouncing ball up against the line. Central Allies, the handball comes inboard. Munyard from the pocket, sets sail to the right-hand side, minor score. Back to 5 points. Eastern Allies with a chance to reload.
So bringing it out of the goal square right now is Hurley. That's a long kick. It's a lovely kick, in fact. Found a teammate, and a good teammate in Crelly it is. Crelly now, a dangerous kick, 2-on-1. It's going to come back. Good mark. That was a 2-on-1. Central Allies player. Oh, it's got to be 50. You see, well, she was ready to go and play on, and then she slipped over. So on the mark was Mia King and just stepped over the mark. Now it's play on. It's going to be chipped forward, and it gives the Centrals another chance. And it's Bella Smith who takes the mark from Norwood. Yeah, it was just unfortunate for Mia King that the player who had the ball hand slipped over because she was just about to play on.
The natural instinct of a footballer.
Yes, it took over, and that was it. So let's see what Bella Smith can do. She can do it nicely. Great kick. Brings the game back to that 1 point margin. Centrals lead it after it was a bright start in this third quarter from the Eastern Allies. 4-4-28 plays 4-3-27 after 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, the momentum, it's just swinging both ways. One side gets the ascendancy and then it goes back the other way. Hasn't really been a full quarter performance from either side so far. Central Allies dominant for the back end of the first quarter and early stages of the second. The Eastern Allies on top early in the third. Central Allies pegging one back there. Favell puts the handball into space. King roving, collecting. Kicks towards centre half forward. Awkward bouncing ball. Favours the Central Allies who get a kick off half back. Fisting it down there. It was Propic. Gets it long. The Central Allies do. Towards the boundary line, running out of room, Garnett. Ball still in play. Now it's pushed over. Umpire says throw it in. A little bit awkward there. Up against the line. Eastern Allies happy to see it over.
And the Eastern Allies still dominating these clearances 15-3. When it gets down there and dirty, though, the tackling stats are in favour of Centrals by +8 as well. So it's Mia King goes for it. Tackled by McKinnon. Still has the presence of mind to get to her knees, get the handball out. Another good tackle and was rewarded this time. That was well done by Charlton. Now she chips a pass forward. That's a good lead, good pass. Comes off now to Munyard. Munyard's going to turn around. Has a player presenting. All good hands, but just the spoil at the end. Just good enough to get him out of those hands. The tackling effort was a bit high. It was actually Breed who got a little bit high, and it's going to be a free kick to the Eastern Allies. And it's going to end up in the hands of Charlie Lovell.
In defensive 50, looks to bring it to the broadcast side. Oh, Montana McKinnon saw it coming her way and said it's mine. Takes the mark, attacking side of the broadcast wing. Favell dropped it. Door opens up here for Tab on the outside. Receives the handball. Sail for home. Across the face, though. Eastern Allies happy to see it through. Hurley will bring the ball back into play for them. 2 point advantage the way of the Central Allies, who clicked back into gear.
And they play on. Hurley comes out of the goal square, kicks it. Oh, McKinnon. Geez, that's a good grab. She's showing some very good signs, isn't she? That's a wobbly mongrel, but it got there again. It's a very good pass. That's all I can say.
Doesn't matter how it gets there.
Yep. It got off her shoe. That's the main thing. And Munyard, she's going to have a shot at goal, Hannah Munyard from South Adelaide. She's only about 25 metres out, slide angle. That's a nice approach. Oh, it's an awkward ball drop, though. You could see she was bringing it out to the right, and it's out of bounds on the full. So still 2 points the margin. Central's lead. It's going to be a free kick to the Eastern Allies, and it'll end up in the hands of Lillian Doyle.
Looks to play on as she brings the ball back into play. Searching there for Tarrant, unable to take the mark. Central Allies get it to Tab again. Similar position to where she was before. Gets a similar result, but has Hartalunai in taking the mark. Tries to open up the angle just a little bit.
Do you reckon she meant that? I reckon she did. I reckon she saw the player and tried to pass it off. I'll give her that one, though.
Hartalunai comes in. She didn't do too much with it. Doesn't get too much of a result. So minor score for the Central Allies. 4-6-30, plays 4-3-27. It was awkward by Tab because she was trying to blaze away again. But there was that free player out the back. Maybe she did see her.
Well, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt here. So it's brought out by Central Allies. Eastern Allies are just pressing again to get it out of here. They wheel around. Hurrell. The player went down before the ball came. It's a really good toe shown there by Martin again. Kicks it inside, attacking 50. That's a good fend as well. Ball gets chipped forward. But once again, Eastern Allies have got the numbers and they've got the flavour. Lovell kicks it towards half back. Centrals have got the numbers here. They're clogging it in quite nicely. It's hooked back there inside 50. Numbers at ground level. Tab was just about to burst onto that ball. Freeman got the handball away. Will she get it back? They're fighting tooth and nail, Eastern Allies, to get this ball out, and it's a good tackle in the end from Central's Carbone to keep it inside, attacking 50.
Been able to lock it in for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Central Allies, McKinnon whacks it down. East to get a clearing kick. Broadcast side. Have a player on, Hillier Stanbrook takes it. Wax boots a ball. Long one. Miskin Rippier in the best spot. Bounced awkwardly for her. Has support in Abbott. Traps it in. And not going anywhere. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. Quick transition there from the Eastern Allies down this broadcast side. One down, straight into the hands of Hamilton. Releases Doyle. Off the side of the boot, out on the full.
So it will be a free kick. The Central Allies. Well done to Tegan Usher, who's jumped the fence and grabbed the ball as well. Multi-skilling, multitasking. So the ball coming back in. It's been a good game, this one, and a great day of footy for round 2 of the AFLW Under-18 Championships here at Metricon. Stabbing pass. Doesn't quite hit the target. Eastern Allies in the ascendancy here. Good, intelligent little tap there. Didn't quite work out for them, but it goes over the boundary line. It's a clever little bit of play from Olivia Edwards, but we'll get a throw in.
Half forward flank for the Eastern Allies. Tossed in. Oh, brilliantly there. Williams goes forward to kick. Good awareness from Smith. Fortunately, the ball didn't land in her hands. She's still going for it. Pops out here the way of the Central Allies, who had a target inside 50 in Lee. Slight angle, 45 metres out.
Benefit of playing in front, isn't it? That was a bit of a shanky torpedo. Well, here's a go.
Yeah, as Freeman running into the pocket. The kick just a little awkward for her. Eastern Allies able to recover. Long kick, goes straight down the throat of Montana McKinnon. That's the 3rd time she's done that this quarter. Goes inboard with the kick. Charlton, impressive in the first half. High ball towards the goal square off hands. Tab happy to lock it in. Umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
How impressive is Montana McKinnon? Very impressive footballer. She was All-Australian as a 17-year-old last year. In this form, she'd be doubling up, no problem. It goes back. Still inside attacking 54 Centrals as Tab just rolls over the top. Charlton in there as well. Eastern Allies desperate to get this one out. Ruckman do well. Oh, it falls down. A good smothering effort there. Eastern Allies desperate in defence. Handball, a little bit of a scrag afterwards. Nothing happening. Now the ball's going to be stuck under couple. No, it's not. It's picked up there by Tab, who has a flying shot and kicks a goal. I thought it was just going to be stuck underneath there. A hand tapped it out, and Tab was quick enough to knock one through for Centrals, and that extends their lead. Goes back out to 9 points now, 5:36 to 4:3:27 at the very end of the third quarter.
Yeah, just right spot, right time there for Jamie Tab to put that one through for the Central Allies. It now gives them a 9-point buffer. Not too long left on the clock. It should expire not long after we restart play in the middle.
She's had a good game, Tab. 10 disposals. She's had 7 tackles, though. That's the thing. She has been brutal in the coalface, and now she's got a goal to her name.
Good reward for effort. Williams tracking it. Still tracking it. Siren sounds. Which brings to a close the third quarter, where the Eastern Allies started on top. Central Allies were able to work it back in their favour late in the turn.
The first 5 minutes were more or less dominated by the Eastern Allies, wasn't it? And but they could only score 1-1 from that dominance. After that, it was 2-3 to Centrals. They just kept going and going until the end of the quarter. So after Centrals led by a point at quarter time, they led by a point at half time. They now lead at three-quarter time by 9 points. So it's a very good contest. The disposal count, I'll have a quick look, 145 to 143 in favour of East, so there's nothing in that. When it comes to disposal efficiency, that's where Centrals have got this game on their head, 58% as opposed to 44%. Yeah. So when they do get the ball, they've had 2 less, but they are doing things with it, and I think the marking prowess is helping them out there as well. 17 clearances to East as opposed to 6 to the Centrals. But as I say, the tackles, 42 to 29. That's the massive difference for mine.
And just the way they were structuring up, once they were able to get the ball down their end of the ground, the Central Allies, just locking it in. Mentioned Montana McKinnon.
Yeah.
Great positioning from her. Every time that hoping kick came out for the Eastern Allies, she was just sitting there waiting for it, was able to take the mark and put them back into a dangerous position. They had plenty of crummers inside 50 that looked dangerous. Tab, obviously, with the goal. She had a couple of shots early in the term. Freeman made her presence known as well. Charlton bobbed up again, but they've just got plenty of contributors. Lee was busy inside 50 again as well. When it went down the other end, though, for a while there, the Eastern Allies were able to capitalise and work themselves on top of the game, but it was just for a short window.
Oh, it was a very short window. Look, they've got some really big contributors, Mia King being the best of them, I think, with 12 disposals, 7 contested possessions, 4 clearances. But Jade Hamilton hasn't been far behind her either. 12 disposals, 10 contested possessions and 3 clearances, and then Favell with 12 and Hurley with 11. But McKinnon's got 11 for the Central Allies. The ruck... just a really good player in the ruck. She's quite dominant in her marking ability with 8 contested disposals, but she's also had 4 inside 50, so she's getting the ball and being responsible for getting it in there as well. I'm really looking forward to the last quarter to see what Eastern Allies can produce to come back, because you know they will. They've shown us that they will throughout the first 3 quarters as well. We see the lines split up again in the three-quarter time huddle here. And there's not a lot of, mad ranting or raving here. This is just methodical. This is what our process needs to be. You can see it on both sides. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all comes together.
It's definitely not panic stations for them. They're in with a chance. It is only 9 points, 15 minutes left to play in the game. They're in it, and that's a positive. They've been competitive. They've looked attacking. There's positives that they're going to take away from the game, particularly the first 3 quarters. It's just when they've got ball in possession, they just could just use it just that little bit better. And
as I've said before too, with a lot of these players in the Central Allies, the Adelaide Crows, when you talk about the draft being state-based, they'd be salivating at some of the players that they're going to have available to them. They can't draft them all, unfortunately for them.
Well, that's probably the hardest point. You've got so many out there potentially. Which one do you go to select?
I tell you what, I'd line up straight away and say Montana McKinnon over here. Thank you very much. She's a very good player. But look, they've got several really good footballers. Charlton's in there and had a red hot go, as you say, early on in the game. She was on fire. But
loved Tata Looney's work up forward too.
Yeah, absolutely. So very creative.
Yep.
Tab's brutal.
Yes.
She's just a brutal midfielder.
Traditional footballer.
Yeah, tackles you, but gets the ball and uses it to great effect. She's still got a disposal efficiency of 75% with her 10 touches as well. So she's doing very well. I'm looking forward to seeing this as we see the sun break through. Finally here at Metricon Stadium.
Bit of blue sky too.
Yeah, beautiful one day and beautiful the next after a bit of rain. It's not bad at all. But a very entertaining day of footy, and I would suggest if you're in this neck of the woods on Wednesday, we'll be doing it from 10 a.m. at the Southport Sharks Footy Club at Fankhauser Reserve here at the Gold Coast of Southport. And we will continue round 2. There's going to be some ripping contests, as Matthew will tell you. We'll do that on Wednesday, and then on Friday we'll be at Bond University for the final 3 matches of round 2.
Yeah, we've got Queensland and Vic Metro coming your way at 10 o'clock at Southport on Wednesday in a match where Queensland, I think, upset Vic Metro in the reciprocal match last year. So that'll be fascinating. Queensland, they've lost 3 on the trot, technically, given their 2 games against Western Australia as part of round 1. So they need to find something.
Yeah, they do. I think the Queenslanders a little bit disappointing this morning.
Vic Country taking on the Eastern Allies. That'll be a fascinating battle as well between a side that very much likes the contested ball against the Eastern Allies, who are more of the outside running, like to use it there. And then Western Australia and the Central Allies will finish things off on Wednesday at 2 p.m. down at Southport.
And that's a big wide ground too, Southport, similar dimensions to the ground here, so there's plenty of room to run and gun at Fankhauser Reserve, and they usually get a good local crowd of people to come down and see the footy as well. So we'll see you down there on Wednesday, but right now we're back into this game, the last game of day 1 of round 2. It'll be the final quarter coming up. Both sets of coaches just delivering their final instructions at the moment. How do you see it finishing, Matthew?
I think when it comes to the crunch, I think the Central Allies just that touch more class and composure with ball in hand. I think they'll get it over the line, but I think the Eastern Allies are going to give them a red-hot crack coming out of this opening bounce. Yeah,
they're very enthusiastic and vocal as they break away from the huddles, and we'll see both sets of players. And we must say it's been a wonderful collegiate type of atmosphere here today. All teams are basically hanging around, supporting the other teams from other states. Yep. So it was a really good atmosphere and a really good sense of sportsmanship in and around this AFLW Under-18 Championships. It's to be applauded by all of the teams and all of the players and officials that have been part of it so far. But we're just waiting for the players to be lined up and set in their 6, 6 and 6 positions, and the umpire will start proceedings off. I'm Michael Price and Matthew Cox to get us going.
Final term action on what's been a big day here at Metricon Stadium. McKinnon won the tap down. Tab applying another tackle as she has all afternoon. Usher emerged with it, puts it into space for Freeman on the outer side. Didn't get the bounce that she wanted to. Eastern Allies arrive and are able to extract the footy. Guess who? Mia King. Tries to get it to their advantage at centre half forward. Ward did well to hold things up. Pops the handball to Munyard. That went astray. King gets it over the top of McKinnon. How? I don't know. Long kick inside 50 from Garnett. Miskin-Rippier out the back. Opened the window there for Carbone, just soccers it through for a minor score. 4-4-28 plays 5-6-36. Early stages final turn.
An opportunity there. There'll be plenty more coming though. Long kick over the head of McKinnon. Just finished a little ginger there. Propelled forward there. Was Whelan. Now it's in dispute. Oh, that's a good shot at goal, but it's just didn't have the legs on it, and Miskin-Rippier Cuts it off for the Centrals. Tries to deliver a pinpoint pass to McKinnon. It landed around her ankles. Now here comes Evans. Scored a great goal earlier. Onto the left foot. Didn't curl it around enough, but one behind results. So it's another flying start for the Eastern Allies. They're still trailing by 7 points though.
As looking to bring it in, the Newman decides to come to the broadcast side. Tab was in the thick of things, so too McKinnon, juggled out of her hands. Going in for it, Usher. Ball pops out, McKinnon going at it. King emerging with it for the Eastern Allies. Got caught by Tab, dispossessed. She'll get a free kick.
Well, very lucky not to have 50 awarded against the two. Just dropped the ball there on the floor.
Tab brings it to the broadcast wing. Good grab taken here by Lee. She wheels around quickly. Players fighting over it. O'Donnell dished the handball off, and the Eastern Allies spiral it straight down the throat of Montana McKinnon.
The All-Australian last year at the age of 17. It's a floater towards the logo here on the commentary wing of Metricon Stadium. Eastern Allies with the numbers. Good bustling work from Jolliffe. Got the ball out. It comes back now to Garnett. Measures a kick. It's a good one. Spall came a little late. Oh, good running. Garnett kept going, but they read it nicely. She got the handball away. Umpire has a judge, but it wasn't illegal, so will be a free kick to Centrals. They basically buggered that up, Eastern Allies.
That's the best way of describing it. Ball to the broadcast side once more. Williams takes the mark. Defensive side of the wing. Pops it down the line. King, best position, couldn't take it. Tab coming in to get the crumbs. Cute little kick around the corner. Wasn't effective for her. King releases Favell. Still on the broadcast wing. Runs a long way and then puts it dangerously towards half forward. Works out for Doyle. Hurry kick on the boot. He's hoping for Crelly to run onto it. Has company. Miskin Rippier ends up with the ball in her hands. There's a little dance to get around traffic. Puts it in the Freeman direction. Couldn't take the mark. Has two to beat here. Freeman's done well to keep the ball in her possession. She's caught now. Fists it away. Williams will come in. Just paddles it forward as well for the Central Allies. Ends up back with it, does Williams. High ball inside 50. Going to be marked, though, by the Eastern Allies in defence.
So taken away there by Prokopic. Kicked it to a 2-on-1. Once again, they're going to come down this commentary wing. Oh, just bounced awkwardly.
Ooh.
And a great smothering effort in the end too. Buttering up for another contest, Mia King. She is a superstar, this girl. Centrals, and that's a really good mark taken as well there from Hurrell. She was under a lot of pressure. Stretched very high in the front position. Once again, the ball's kicked forward and brought down. Central Allies have got this one sorted as well. Fry bounces the ball in front of Hartle-Looney. Can't quite control it. Now they're coming back out again. Hurrell gets the handball through under on hands and knees. It was Hamilton who just promoted it forward with her 13th disposal. But it's cut off once again by Centrals and they get it outside their defence.
Yeah, not out of danger just yet, though, especially when King's in the vicinity. She puts it towards half forward for the Eastern Allies, searching for Doyle, runs out of room. Yeah, and last disposal coming into play, so a free kick will go the way of the Central Allies. And it looks like taking the kick down there will be Ma.
Just having a look at some of the disposals as well. We'll look at how effective Jamie Tabb has been for Central. She's up to 10 tackles now, Matthew. It's an incredible performance.
And using the ball well, continuing to. Ball centre wing. Taylor gives the handball off to Odwogo. Just an up and under kick from her. Usher to ground. McKinnon, handballs over the line, out of play. Throw it in centre wing on the broadcast side.
So leading disposal getter on the field is Mia King, of course, with 17. She's had 13 contested possessions and 4 clearances. That's for Eastern Allies, and for the Central Allies, McKinnon. Well, let's see what she does with this one. She misses the hit out, so she's still got the 14 disposals. But once again, King injects herself and she's tackled into the ground by Ballard. Just the tackling stats would be very pleasing for the Central Allies, 47 against 34, so they're dominating that particular area. As Charlton overruns it, goes back and gets it, then tackled off the ball. Carbone puts herself in. Once again, McKinnon. And now they've got through the Eastern Allies. They will burst through. It's going to go inside 50. At the back, Miskin-Rippier did well to disturb the ball away from the Allies, Eastern Allies player. Well done to Crelly. She put herself in. Now the ball's coming back out. Wonderful tackling effort again. The coaching staff of the Central Allies would be absolutely delighted with the effort and the amount of tackling.
Just need to get a bit of reward. Ball at half forward. Oop.
Perhaps not that one. But the intent was still there. They'd be loving that.
As the ball goes inboard, mark taken by Ma. Goes wide with the kick. It was a searching one for Smith. Has to double back. Eastern Allies with numbers though. They give the handball to Hamilton. And they'll go inside 50 now. High ball, 2-on-1, favoured the Central Allies. Comes to ground. Jolliffe released the handball. Edwards under pressure, caught. Ball not coming out. Does now, somehow. Hurry kick. Just through for a minor score.
I don't know how Jordan Jolliffe ended up taking that ball away from the stoppage. It was locked in there for all money, wasn't it? But they're just doing it very hard at the moment. It's 6 points the margin, and that's just one goal, the difference. Centrals are leading this one as they come out of defence. Oh, there was a good spoiling effort there to bring the ball back down from Lee. It was going straight onto the chest of an Eastern Allies player as it's hacked out of there again. Once again, the Eastern Allies through Pease. That's really well done from the Canberra girl. Gets it back to Mia King, who threads a needle. Miskin-Rippier, it nutmegged her. Couple of numbers there. Eastern Allies with those numbers. Will the ball come out? It does. It's picked up there by Tarrant, who's tackled into the ground by Miskin-Rippier and her teammate in Usher. So it was a 2-on-1. Another ball up very close to goal for the Eastern Allies.
Geez, they need a major. King goes up in the ruck contest. She can do everything. Ball to ground. High ball. Top of the goal square. Doyle. Squeezed out. Central Allies, the kick goes straight down the throat of King. Oh, I said went in the ruck. She didn't, actually. It was Doyle. Goes inboard with the kick. Great courage from Jade Hamilton. Takes the mark. Slight angle. 35 metres out.
Yeah, that's at the 11th contested possession for Jade Hamilton today. She's had 13, 11 of those contested, mind you. That's it. Fantastic work. Coming in for her first goal.
Can she get it to level things up? No, she can't. But it might be a handy point.
Ah, a handy point. The game has been... It's not... got worse than 8 points, 9 points of the margin for the whole game. But Central's looking good right now. Oh, she went just one too far. Still got the kick away. East still putting the pressure on. Freeman puts herself in. Sorry, it was McKinnon put herself in. Couldn't quite control the ball. The ball's now stuck under a couple of players, and we'll do it all again on the outer side of the ground. Last person coming up with that ball was Jade Hamilton, having a very good game indeed. Ball comes out now. It's with Evans. She got the handball away. It was Erin. Gets hacked by Centrals. Back into the middle. Nice mark taken by Jessica Whelan. If she keeps going, she needs to move quickly. Get the ball inside 50. That's their biggest opportunity. Oh, it's well done again. The Central's defence stingy, not allowing anything, but another mark taken there by Whelan, and it's going to go back in.
She looked to give the handball off, but decides to go long with the kick. Inside 50, off hands. Eastern Allies through King, centering ball, great kick. Edwards takes the mark. She's going to pop it up. Top of the goal square. You don't really do that when McKinnon's standing there. She just swallows those ones.
She's monumental. McKinnon now with the 14 disposals, and she has had... make that 15 disposals. She's done beautifully as the ball comes back out. Eastern Allies with a chance to get a repeat 50 entry. Only a couple of minutes left in this final turn. They're trailing by 5 points. A goal will put them in front. But there she is, Tab. She is as tough as old boots, and she actually carries a player over the boundary line. She's the kind of midfielder you really rely on to get that tough ball out. And as I've said before, she's now up to 10 tackles, a goal and 12 disposals. Very, very good performance. One of the better players on the field for Centrals as well, including McKinnon in the ruck. Goes over the back. Eastern Allies now with another opportunity with 12 gone, final term. Down the wing, and that's a really good mark. Taken there by Kiana Lee, another very good player for the Central Allies.
Defensive side of the broadcast wing. Kickers judged very well in the end. Garnett whacked it on her boot. Trying to get it to the advantage of the Eastern Allies. Just ping-pong footy at the moment. Going back and forth. Now ends up in the hands of Carbone, who goes towards half forward. Ballard tried her best to get things going. Ended up in the hands of Lovell. Goes into the middle. Fry under pressure. Ball dribbles free. Plenty of blue jumpers here. King threading the needle beautifully to Jolliffe. Takes it attacking side of the broadcast wing. Wants a target inside 50 and gets it.
Oh, turn and go, turn and go.
Doyle wants to loan up. She's a little hesitant, which caused the smother. Opportunity opens up for Garnett coming through. Flying shot. Oh, the Central Allies, they got a hand to it, but they muddled that one up. Now a 4-point margin in favour of the Central Allies. They're under all sorts of pressure.
About a minute and a half, nearly 2 minutes left to go as Miskin Rippier brings the ball back out for Central Allies. It might be coming back. No, it's not. They just hack it out of there. That's good policy at this stage of the game. Beautifully trapped there by Hunt Alunai, and the ball stuck underneath her. The ball's going to be claimed by the umpire. She says it's all mine, and we'll get a ball up just forward of centre wing. Now McKinnon got the tap out, but it was roved by the Eastern Allies. They got to get this clearance and get the ball back inside attacking 50. Stuck underneath a couple of bodies, and Mia King's one of them. She gives it back to the umpire. We'll do it again. McKinnon with the ruck work. Tab, she's tackled, held up. We haven't moved a spot. Just less than a minute to go, Matthew. Let's see what they can do, the Eastern Allies.
They need to thump the ball forward here. They don't get that opportunity going to ground. Ilya Stanbrook to cause another stoppage. A little bit of push and shove at the conclusion of the game. 30 seconds left on the clock. McKinnon palms it into the hands of Tab. King trying to extract it, battling hard, fighting hard for it. It won't come out. 15 seconds left on the clock. McKinnon palmed it straight into the hands of Healy. Caught. King extracts it, but couldn't dispose it. And we'll get another ball up. Time will expire on the Eastern Allies. They peppered the goals. The Central Allies were able to hang on. They battled hard in that final term and find themselves with a 4-point win. 5-6-36, the Central Allies defeating the Eastern Allies 4-8-32 in what was a brilliant game of football to round out day one of round two of the AFLW Under-18 Championships.
Oh, Central stopped. They very much stopped in that, and Eastern Allies kept peppering. They kicked 5 straight behinds in that last quarter, which was their undoing, unfortunately. But what a great game of footy, and what a great day it has been here at Metricon Stadium. A great conclusion as the Central Allies win this one by 4 points over the Eastern Allies. That's after the Queenslanders were dusted up by Vic Country early on in Game 1, and Vic Metro came out winners against Western Australia in Game 2 in what was the match of the day, methinks. But today it has been a ripping start to round 2. We're going to be back with the second day of round 2 on Wednesday. We're coming live via the YouTube channel, as you are looking at the moment, the AFLW channel there, and we'll be doing that from 10 a.m. from the Southport Footy Club with some great matches for you to continue round 2. But on behalf of Matthew Cox and Scott Fisher, the technical genius,